next we have Best Original Track, which, to be clear, is a single track written for a specific game, not licensed, not any of that kind of stuff. No. But it's a single specific track.
Yeah.
From a game. So we have Popstar.
Weird that you say OST from a game, given what the first thing is.
OST with a game's name on it. Popstars, League of Legends.
Not in the game.
Vagrant Song (brackets Deep South) from Where the Water Tastes
Deep
Like
South
Wine.
variant of that song.
They have variants.
Yes,
of those songs.
depends on where you are in America.
Right. Okay. We Will Rise Again from Far Cry 5. A Settlement in the Red Bluffs. Is that right? Because there's like 3 versions of, depending on the translation of that OST.
It's the thing that I keep seeing is A Settlement in the Red Bluffs.
Okay.
So.
The Great Outdoor from Ni no Kuni 2. Ain't Nothing But a Funky Beat, Lethal League Blaze.
Yep.
4X Decisive Battle 2.
Yeah. Because it's like the X is because it's like their character themes, so they all have different things that they're doing things for.
Right, okay.
But it always leads into Decisive Battle 2. So
right, got it. Roll the Old Breath's
Bereth's Wheel.
Oh, Bereth's Wheel.
Yeah.
From Pillars of Eternity.
Yep, Pillars of Eternity 2.
Rootbuster, Deltarune, the intro theme to The Quiet Man.
It's not even that's not even a song.
That's not even a song. That way. Marketing director from the Red Strings Club. What Lies Beneath from Yoku's Island Express. Machine Learning from the Red Strings Club, and Getting Started from the X-Punks soundtrack.
Yeah.
Let's have the Popstars conversation.
It's not in the game.
But
it's not in the game.
It is a original track for a video game.
No, it was an original track for an event.
Written for a video game.
An event for the video game.
Uh-huh.
Not the video game.
There's no other
It was performed in relation to League of Legends.
That track does not exist if League of Legends does not exist.
It also doesn't exist inside of League of Legends.
If there's a way to play that track from inside League of Legends, it counts.
There is a way to play a fraction of that track.
That's fine.
Like 4 seconds.
There are a bunch of things in games that are 4 seconds long that you have to play in the video game.
But that's not a song.
Okay, I'm changing it then. It is Popstars from Beat Saber.
Not produced for Beat Saber. It's not an original track when it's in Beat Saber.
But if it's not an original track
But it is an original track, it's just not made for a video game. And for Beat Saber, they ported it. That's like taking a track from a movie and putting it in Beat Saber. Same thing.
Okay, but if it's either in the game or it's not in the game. Like you can't.
But it's not. It was made for a thing, but it's not in League of Legends.
Come back to that.
Okay.
Vagrant Song from War Tastes Like Wine.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's a really cool. It's the same song with the same lyrics that they change the styling of based on where you are in America.
Yeah.
It's like an Appalachian version and stuff, but the Deep South variant is very very intimate. It's just like a acoustic guitar,
like
single guy, single acoustic guitar, as opposed to a band, which the other versions have. And like there's like one version has a really peppy female singer and stuff. This is very like dour, low note.
Fair enough. Is that good?
It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to go back to it.
It's an interesting way of telling a story through a video game, but the thing that stood out the most to me was the soundtrack. So,
can you talk about the next one? Because I want to confirm that this is an original song.
I'm pretty sure it is because it's on the soundtrack.
I know, but like, remember we went through this rigmarole with Bioshock Infinite, where a bunch of those tracks were not. They were tracks, but they were like revamps of like old gospel songs. Oh,
sure.
And stuff.
Yeah, maybe look that up. I'll skip that one and I'll talk about the next one.
Okay.
So Settlement in the Red Bluffs is the town theme for, I think it's called Rockcliffe, which is one of the starting towns. And it is like, it's just a great kind of like folk song that has like the fiddles and the accordions, and it's like it's the starting town of like one of the starting towns of Thief, who's all about like being all like roguish and stealing stuff, and it suits the kind of environment that you find it in very well.
So that track might not be original.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just not worry about it then.
From no, okay, maybe. Don't.
Do you want to just ignore it for safety? There's other stuff that we can do.
No, sorry, I'm looking at this. Somebody else has adapted the Far Cry 5 soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Why it's confusing a lot of these.
Sure.
This is attributed to him, so
okay.
to the
sure.
the musician.
So We Will Rise Again is one of the songs in Far Cry 5 that plays over the taken over cult radio, and it is like, it's a strange gospel kind of song that is just played by this woman with a solo acoustic guitar. It's just really haunting.
It's really nice.
It suits the themes and the messages of that game really well, where it's all talking about, or the cult in that game really well. It's all talking about like the apocalypse and being better than, like, surviving and being better than the other people because they're following the correct path and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Very good song.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. Great Outdoor from Ni no Kuni 2 is just the overworld music. It just matches that game so perfectly. It's just all big orchestral sweeping music about being very whimsical and nice, and it's all airy because you're out in the environment. It's just a very nice overworld music.
Yeah, but it's very much like, it sounds very much like,
it is overworld music from a JRPG.
Yeah,
like that is just what it is. I just like that.
Okay, I'm comfortable including
the Far Cry song
because it seems like it's original. Sure. The problem is that there are a bunch of songs called We Will Rise Again, a lot of which have kind of religious overtones.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So,
yeah,
but googling those lyrics only give you the Far Cry 5 stuff.
Okay,
so,
cool. Then it's Ain't Nothing Like a Funky Beat from Little League Blaze.
That's the guy, the Jet Set
guy.
The
Jet Set Radio composer wrote his first song in like 4 years or something like that, specifically for Little League Blaze, and it is the best song on that soundtrack.
Yep.
And it's amazing, and it's exactly what that guy does and how it fits that game so perfectly.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just great.
Yep.
Agree. 4X Decisive Battle 2, the soundtrack in Octopath is really good, but that one specifically because it plays at the start of the Act 2 bosses, and it's different for every character, where it's their character theme at the start and then leads into the boss fight music, which is like really big, as you'd expect from boss fight music, like amped up, big heavy strings.
It's a transition that works really well, actually. It's not like a lot of soundtracks like that, or game soundtracks specifically, that will go from one to the other. Like they have like a kind of very long lead in.
Yeah.
This one is like snaps straight into.
So it jumps. There's like the character theme, which will sit in loop for as long as that starting cutscene takes. Then as you transition into combat, there's a different little bit of music that is specifically designed to handhold one theme to the other that plays, that then leads amazingly directly into the boss fight 2 music. It's just a great little bit of musical stitching that I thought was really great. Roll the Old Barreth's Wheel is just... I'm just staggered that they wrote their own sea shanties and they all work, and it's all about in-universe stuff. It's not like our sea shanties adapted. They wrote their own
of the lore from the world.
So like Roll the Old Barreth's Wheel is just about the Barreth's Wheel is like the concept in Pillars of Eternity of like how they reincarnate in that world, where your soul goes back to the wheel and is then reincarnated. So the sailors sing that as a working song of like, it doesn't matter if we die because we'll go and live, and it works with the story of that game because the main thing that is going to happen in that game is Aethys, who's one of the gods, comes back and wants to destroy the wheel and make sure that everybody just dies. So that song has this kind of like weirder hidden meaning when you think about the story as a whole. It's just a really good sea shanty, and I like a good sea shanty.
Yep, sure.
Broodbuster from Deltarune is just Toby Fox doing his Toby Fox thing.
It's a lot,
and
like,
just
a lot
fucking
happening.
Going for it. Like he does the usual like it's like I was gonna say it's like the Undertale soundtrack, where it's just like when he wants to go for it, like it's something like Megalovania or something like that from the Undertale. He just goes all out with like multiple instruments, big, fast. Like it's awesome.
Intense.
It's so great. I had that on loop for a whole day once, and you just get into a rhythm with it. It's so great. Then it's your stuff.
So there's the two Red Strings Club tracks, marketing director and machine learning.
Yeah.
Probably marketing director if I had to pick one. It just fits that world so well and what's happening, because that one specifically is... I'm trying to remember. It's either one of the bar scenes. I think it's one of the out. A lot of that thing revolves around the bar.
Yeah.
But like, there's some scenes outside. I think it's scenes potentially as well. But it just fits so well into that world and what they're trying to go for. I think you described it as like that chill, like 24/7.
Yeah, it's like it's the 24-hour like chill hip hop or chill beats soundtrack that a hacker has on their second monitor while they're hacking. It's that sort of idea.
Kind of, but it's definitely got like.
But it goes through.
But it's also got that kind of Vangelis Blade Runner. On top of it,
like weird big reverbs and
What Lies Beneath and Yokai Island Express. This is the final boss music.
Yeah,
and there's a weird like jazz is evil overtone to that game that like because the final again we're spoilers for games. Of course. But like once you get all of the heads of all the parts of the island together, they're going to play a song to bring back the central creature of the island. Yeah, and they all have like very kind of tribal-esque instruments that are there. And then the main guy, who's actually been your buddy for the whole thing, actually turns out to be the bad guy. Right. He just fucking. It's so funny. Like they're all playing their like very kind of
their drums and
all that kind of thing. He just fucking bursts out with like a saxophone. It's ridiculous. Like he just starts fucking trilling on the saxophone. It's ridiculous.
It is a great. It does break in that song where it is like starts off all weird and tribal and then just goes into like a jazz freeform moment.
Really well.
Yeah.
And then the last one on here is the from X-Punks.
Yeah.
I could have picked any of them for the X-Punks thing, but that one specifically is like it's the thing that surprised me about that is like you're spending so long in each one of those individual levels.
Yeah.
That you would imagine that it gets
dull or repetitive.
Or dull. But it's actually fine.
Yeah,
it's actually, and a lot of that music's actually really good. So we're gonna take a break here. Go back, listen to a couple of these, make sure we know what we're talking about, and we'll be back. So we're back, and we need to pick our best original track.
Yep.
What are your initial feelings?
I like the song from Lethal League Blaze.
Thought you might.
I like that Exapunk song.
Okay.
I like the Where the Water Tastes Like Wine song. And I like the Settlement in Red Bluff from Octopath Traveler. That's kind of what I've got.
Okay. I like Pop Stars.
Does it count?
Are we still maintaining this is not part of...
It's not a League of Legends song.
Fine.
Yeah.
I like that Water Tastes Like Wine track.
Yep.
I like the Far Cry 5 track. Mainly because it was not expected from that game.
Yeah, it was very surprising. That's true.
For a game that did not seem very good.
I also like that Yoku Island song. That Yoku Island song is really good.
Yoku Island one, good. I really like the Red Strings track as well.
Yeah, which one?
The Marketing Director.
Right.
I think it's the one I actually like. So if I was to pick a 3, I would probably say it's Lethal League.
Yep.
It's Marketing Director, and it's Water Tastes Like Wine. I think.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Alright.
Yeah, that seems fine.
I mean, I'm annoyed that we can't talk about Pop Stars.
It's a great K-pop song that they wrote for the League of Legends finals. It's great. It's not a song in a video game.
Okay. I would put it over the Red Strings track.
Sure.
I'd probably put it over the Where the Water Tastes Like Wine track.
No.
And I'd probably actually put it over the Lethal League track.
No. Definitely not.
So I don't get any Red String stuff in here.
This is your call. I'm not having it above the 2 things that I want. So
you know what? It's eligible for the category.
Yeah.
And I'm happy it get nominated.
Okay, good.
I think it's the Marketing Director, the Red Strings Club.
Yep.
Water Tastes Like Wine. And Lethal League.
Yep. What wins?
I mean,
I know what wins.
I know how much you like that Lethal League.
Lethal League's gonna win.
I would have said Water Tastes Like Wine.
The Lethal League song's so good.
It is, but
the Lethal League song is the only one I think that works as a song. Like,
I don't think it handles repeats very well.
I listened to it for a whole day with no problems.
Okay.
I think it's a great song that works perfectly for what it is. But then again, so does Where the Water Tastes Like Wine.
Yeah, like that's very indicative of that track.
Yeah. 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 I'd be okay with either of them. I don't really mind. I prefer the Lethal League one, but it's.
I know you do. The Lethal League one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will give you that. I think I will give you that.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but
I mean, it's a good one of those. Like, it doesn't really not.
Well, if you're not 100% sure,
the problem is, like, out of those top 3, that's the one that one of us listened to for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
Real long time.
Can't argue with that. So I will do that. Okay with that.
Cool.
So that is Nothing Like a Funky Beat from Lethal League Blaze.
League of Legends.
League of Legends. With Deep South variant of Vagrant Song, Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, and Marketing Director from the Red Strings Club.
Yeah.
It's our best original track.
Yeah, it is.
Stick in there.
Really good music.
Like it.
The next up is probably going to be a long one.
Yeah, this is always the one that takes us a little bit of time.
Takes the longest. This is the best moment. Self-explanatory. It's the best moment in a video game. Start off, we have the
before we go, like, this is the spoiler one.
Yeah, there's going to be spoilers. There's going to be spoilers
very explicitly
here.
About parts of these games.
Yes.
So
we've got the hospital escape from A Way Out. When It All Goes Wrong from Oxygen Not Included. Oh shit, your arm from the council. I think you talked about that already, but yeah.
I did.
The Hive Attack from God of War. Kulvataroth from Monster Hunter World. The first Baldur fight from God of War. Drinking with Lenny from Red Dead Redemption 2. The Guardian Speaks in Destiny 2, which... the Miami mascot mission story in Hitman 2. Fort Deadlight in Pillars of Eternity 2. Spider-Cop from Spider-Man. Fighting high-rank Anjanath from Monster Hunter World. Cooking with Palicos in Monster Hunter World. The post-credit sequence from Spider-Man. Blades of Chaos from God of War. The Act 2 bosses from Octopath Traveler. Donkey Goes on Strike from Graveyard Keeper. The final hit from Headman 2. Returning from Guarma from Red Dead. The epilogue from Red Dead. Money collection missions after Chapter 5 from Red Dead. The death of Colm O'Driscoll from Red Dead. Our specific Mario Party from Super Mario Party. The controller jingle from Super Mario Party. And the boiler room from The Adventures of Captain Spirit. Okay, so the hostile escape from The Way Out.
Yeah, that is
the one of the few bits of A Way Out I think works as well as it should.
It pulls together every part of what that game was trying to be.
Yeah.
So The Way Out was, for people who didn't see it, it's the co-op adventure game, kind of prison escape
adventure game.
Yeah. Where it has to be played co-op, and there's a permanent split screen so you can see both sides and people control characters.
Yeah.
That one worked for me because it's a constant. It's the cut for me. It's the camera moves between like one character to another as it goes in and out and through the hospital.
There's never any hard cut. The camera like pans out of a window and into another window, or like down an elevator. Yeah, single shot
as people are both controlling each character.
Yeah, doing separate things, trying to get out of a hospital.
And it kind of epitomizes what they wanted from that game, which was like, you're both sitting on the couch next to each other while that's all happening, going, oh shit. That was
really cool. It was the best sequence in that game.
I think so.
It was really cool.
Sure.
When it all goes wrong, and Oxygen Not Included, it's just when things fuck up.
There's basically no other category I can put Oxygen Not Included in here, so I put it in here as well. It's kind of the reason why that game worked for me as well as it did. Sorry, there's cars outside there apparently. The thing about that game is, like, rather than other base building games where shit falls apart 6 hours in, you always know how you fucked up, and there's always a thing of like, oh shit, I removed the waste pipe and now everyone is drowning in pee.
Yeah.
And also I forgot to build that med bay that I meant to build so nobody can cure themselves.
Yeah.
And also while they're there, we've also ran out of fuel, so there's oxygen happening. Like, there's just these
you didn't put a roof on your poop chute so all the methane's getting out. And,
exactly. Like, there's just, every time it goes wrong, like, you always know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And how you
can see it happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it happens, especially when you're learning that game, it happens early.
Yeah.
So again, this is early access, so they may change that ramp.
Yeah.
But like, you fail early and you fail often to the point where you feel good, and then every single run you try something different. Where the run I'm in right now, I'm not gonna the way the world around me is set up. Like, I'm not gonna get very far, I don't think, because of what I have right now. So I'm gonna try and learn the ranching stuff and capture some creatures and figure that out.
Okay.
And see how that goes. So yeah, it's just when shit goes wrong, it's always fun, as
Yeah.
opposed to just being like, I made a mistake and this entire game's a waste.
Mhm.
You know.
Oh shit, your arm from the council.
This is the best / worst bit of voice acting in a video game of this year.
Yeah.
There's a section in the first episode of the council where
It's not the first episode because I played the first time. So.
it is the first episode.
Is it?
It's
Why did I not remember this?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it's the opening where you land on the jetty and there's a flashback to you and your mother.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. I got it.
In a hotel room.
Yeah, they're like tied to a chair.
And he's tied to a chair.
Yeah.
And your mum is missing an arm.
Yeah.
And in the just straight up worst bit of voice acting, he just goes, "Oh shit, your arm!" And I had to put the controller down. I was laughing so hard.
It was a really good opening to what that game was eventually going to be.
It's in the video we put up of it earlier on,
which was like kinda janky, weird as hell, but like interesting.
Sorry, can I add a moment?
Oh fuck, okay.
While I'm here, but yeah.
It was a moment that was pretty indicative of what the council was going to be.
Yeah.
So the hive attack in God of War.
Yeah, which part is this?
I'm assuming that I didn't put this on. I thought you put this on.
Oh.
But I'm assuming the hive attack is the moment when you go to get the Bifrost, and Kratos walks into the light and starts seeing the like visions of Freya, and like he goes on that long like spirit quest. And like climbs up the mountain and stuff.
Yeah.
And then so you go to charge the Bifrost, which is supposed to be your thing to let you travel between realms. And Kratos walks with the Bifrost into the like elf energy light, and basically starts seeing visions of his dead wife, and like talking to him, and like flashbacks to his past, and like conversation between the mum and the son, but he wasn't there, and goes through this whole emotional thing about him trying to get his wife again.
Yes.
And it fades from him. And it ends by Atreus pulling Kratos out of the light, with Kratos screaming like, "No, I want to go back, I want to go back."
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And Kratos gets up, and the entire platform that they're on is like covered in corpses of like dead, the bug things that I can't remember, the dark elves, I think.
Yeah.
Covered in corpses, and Atreus is basically standing there saying, "Where the hell were you? You've been there for like days."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I was only gone for a minute," but it turns out that time had gone way faster, and Atreus has been there on his own for days, fighting against these dark elves.
That's a cool moment.
And it's the moment. It's the moment where, in that story, where Atreus starts like not turning on Kratos, but he becomes really shitty and like angsty teenager or whatever. But he goes through a lot of the process of going like, "No, fuck this." Like he finally snaps and is like, "No, fuck this guy. He's never been here for me," and left me to die on this hill that I had to defend myself on. There's this really cool like turning point moment in the story that was.
And do you want to do the other God of War moment while we're here? The first fight with Baldur?
Yeah, so the first Baldur fight is probably the best kickoff to a game I've ever had, where the first this is in like the first 10 minutes, where Kratos goes out to farm a tree to burn his wife, and is met by at his house. At that point, is just called the Stranger. Turns out later to be Baldur, who basically says, like, "Oh, we know who you are, and why are you here? You should be back with your people." Like threatens him a bunch, and Kratos basically says, "Leave my land." And it ends with Baldur, who is like one of the big Norse myth characters, whose thing is that he can't die. And Kratos, who basically also can't die, fighting basically until they can't anymore. Just
pummeling shit at each other.
Proper like heavy punches, and like Baldur fires Kratos through the roof of his house.
It vaguely took a Dragon Ball Z-esque.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of heavy turns where he's like firing through roofs, and then Baldur like German suplexes him and then punts him through a mountain. And it gets to the point where like you pummel Baldur into a stone, and then Kratos cracks the stone with his bare hand and flattens him with it, and starts walking away. But then Baldur appears again,
and it goes on.
And it is literally like those 6 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, where it's just more things just keep happening.
Yeah,
and it ends with you thinking you've killed Baldur by throwing him off the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
But then Kratos tells Atreus that he shouldn't have been able to get there because his wife Lofre had put like a protective barrier around. They broken by cutting the tree down.
It was a really daring thing for them to do, actually, because a lot of people already knew that like God of War was not going to be the traditional God of War, but for them to open that game with some freeform combat, but mainly like
Yeah.
a scripted sequence like that. Like
Yeah,
basically
big cinematic God of War
QTE
sequence,
kind of,
yeah.
Like that was daring. It's like, here's the new stuff, here's the old stuff, we're doing both, don't worry, let's go for it. It was really cool.
It was good, yeah, because it went from that and then led into the kind of like, not the slower paced kind of stuff, because you got out of that into your first fight with the Leviathan axe.
Yes.
Where everything is like a lot slower, a lot more deliberate, instead of the like Blades of Chaos, like crazy whipping around, like cinematic combat of God of War before. What
is a Kulvataroth?
So Kulvataroth is the effectively like the raid of Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Where I talked about this on the podcast, where it's a giant 4-legged monster that's encased in gold.
Right.
And you go there because it's one of like the big monsters of the universe, and the idea is that you want to break its horns, because it melts metal into its horns to form these like giant, like basically precious metal horns.
Okay.
That are formed out of the weapons of people that it's killed, effectively.
Right. Yep.
You want to go and get these horns to get the weapons out. Special super weapons.
Yeah.
And the raid is basically like a monster. It's like any other Monster Hunter fight, except it's broken up into like 4 distinct fights.
Okay.
That are all different, and everything, because it's a raid, it's technically a fight that can happen it's kind of like spread out amongst like a cloud server sort of thing.
Okay.
Where there are everybody in the instance that is on this like raid, you're only in with 3 other people, but other people can go in with other groups.
Right.
And you get feedback from them about what they're doing, of like they've broken off this bit of the monster, or they've found this track, or whatever. Yeah, the other groups. So you're getting this constant feed of information about how other people are doing. In the meantime, you are trying to like find tracks and chip bits off the monster, which raises like specific levels that will help you later on in breaking stuff off. But so it's all this kind of like, you get it's a really cool thing of like, it motivates you by seeing the other people doing it.
Right.
He's like, oh, that guy's broken off the horn, we can do this. Like, it's a sort of like small motivating factor. But the thing comes into it where, because it's a fight in 4 phases, every phase is really distinct, where the first phase is like really slow, and it's more about gathering information and like trying to chip bits off the monster, but it's mainly about like gathering as much information as possible.
Okay, so there's a stage where you're trying to basically like case the joint.
Yeah,
almost.
You're trying to like find out where the monster's going and like get as much information as you can. The second phase is more like a traditional Monster Hunter fight, where it is the monster doing like, it's still very slow because it's encased in gold.
Sure.
But it is like, it's doing scheduled attacks, it's rolling, it's just stuff you're trying to like move around, but you're trying to basically break the gold off of it. It runs away, and then the third phase is in this big volcanic area, where the gold is like melting off the monster.
Oh, weird.
So you're then eventually trying to break the whole shell off of it by like making it stand over lava jets and like knocking boulders off the roof to break it off.
Sure.
And then the best thing happens, which is the gold finally breaks, and it breaks out into this 4-legged monster. It still has the massive arms and the massive head, but the gold's all gone, and it reveals this like really small, quick 4-legged monster. And it runs away like super fast, like nothing you've ever really expected before, and it runs into like its final nesting area, and then it becomes like hyper Monster Hunter fight, where the monster is really fast, throwing fireballs at you, moving like way quicker than you'd expect. Like it's a fight that encapsulates everything about the Monster Hunter experience,
right?
And you're like constantly communicating, like different weapons are better at different moments in the fight, so everybody feels useful, but at the same time you're not useless, you're still doing stuff.
Is this a new type of thing for Monster Hunter?
As far as I'm aware, yes. Okay. I don't actually know because I've not played the other ones, but I'm told that it's kind of like a newer idea,
or at least the best iteration of that.
But it is like, it's the most, other than Behemoth, which is something I only just fought and can't beat, it's the most singular encapsulation of what the Monster Hunter experience is. Where every weapon's unique, everybody's working together, there's very specific tactics about how to beat the monster in different phases and how they react, and it's a really, really solid fight. Like, it is just a great fight.
Drinking with Lenny in Red Dead was probably my favourite moment of that game that I played. It's such a fantastic use of all the different parts of good bits of Red Dead, where it's like the kind of the camera work, where like as you continue to get drunk, there's a section where like you nudge someone and they line up for a fight, and Arthur goes for a swing to punch, and just as it contacts, cuts to them all line dancing. Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
It's great, and like when you get more and more drunk, it goes to like first person sections where you're looking for Lenny, and like every character has Lenny's face.
Yeah.
And you're calling out to him, but the button prompt is like Lenny with like 5 E's and 4 Y's and the
prompt and stuff.
Yeah, and eventually just gets to ... and he just starts slurring his words, and it's really hard to move across the bar.
And there's sections where like, and then when you get the fight ends up outside, it just jump cuts to like, oh, you're now just running away and you don't quite know how you got there.
It's a really clever, again, like we were saying with the best looking thing, it's a really clever use of them doing their directorial best. Like they're doing very deliberate cuts at very specific moments to get humor and to get drama and to get all of these moments together. But it's a great kind of whole moment of, especially very early on in the game, when a lot of that first chapter is about them lamenting about how shit the Blackwater job was.
Yeah.
And this was the first moment of them actually going, oh no, it's all okay, we're fine.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, Lenny's sad, let's go and get him drunk. And,
totally.
Yeah, up line dancing at a bar, and it
was awesome.
Fantastic
really,
sequence.
Really good.
So the Guardian speaks in Destiny 2. This was way more impactful for you than for me.
This only really works if you've played as much Destiny since Destiny 1 as I have.
Sure.
Where I've basically had the same character for like 160, 70 plus hours of this game. And then there's a moment at the start of Forsaken after you come back from the mission where Cade's died, and Cade's body's on the plinth, and Zavala says, I can't remember exactly how the conversation goes, but Zavala says something, and then there's this new voice off camera that says, like, we should do this.
Yeah.
And you're like, good. And
I think the first thing he says is something like, he's mine.
Yeah.
Talking about Aldrich.
And it's like, who the fuck is this? Have they introduced a new character? And then it cuts, and it's your character.
Yeah.
Which, having not spoken for so long.
Yeah, for like 2 games.
For her to have a voice is just so good. And it was this great, like, I out loud went, holy shit, when it happened.
But, like, when you look at it in total, right, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
She has 3 lines throughout the expansion, and 2 of them are single words.
And it works. Like, you don't need anything else for me.
Sure.
Like, that was enough of a moment for me.
The Miami mascot mission?
Yeah, so this is in the Miami map. Which
is the race one?
Yeah, the racetrack. And there's the new thing they've done in Hitman 2 is splitting the mission stories off from the challenges.
Yeah.
The mission stories are now like, here's 6 things that we will guide you through step by step to explore this part of the map, or to know where these items are, or to find these characters, or whatever it is. And one of them is in the racetrack. One of your targets is the father and daughter. The father owns the weapons company. The daughter
is the racer.
She races she's in the race.
Yeah.
And you're walking through the parking garage, and there's a dude in the flamingo costume on the phone. Yeah. Saying,
"This is just like a mascot for the event.
This is the mascot. He's like a flamingo that's a sponsor or whatever it is.
Sure.
He's on the phone to somebody who says like, I have to go meet her, but I can't go looking as myself, so I stole this mascot costume off of someone, so that I'm disguised, so I can go meet the drop." And he talks about he's got documents that will blackmail her to get money or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Somebody else has gone in and stolen costumes as well. That like there's not me.
Done the Hitman thing.
Yeah. And then you look down the corridor entirely to his left, because when you turn up, like he's on the phone, he's kind of looking around the corner.
Yeah.
You look down that corner, and there's a dude on the floor with somebody going, "Are you alright?" It says, "Some idiot took my mascot costume." Like, it's this whole like circular bit of like, here's some core Hitman stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you're a human being, you then hit that guy with a fire extinguisher and steal the mascot costume again. Yeah. And then walk by the guy who originally had the mascot costume.
Does he react in any way?
No, but he does have the dot, which means like if he sees you, he'll recognize you. So it's a really nice section of scripted sequence in there.
A dumb turning of the mirror back on Hitman.
Yeah, totally.
47.
What is Fort Deadlight?
Okay, so Fort Deadlight is a bit in Pillars of Eternity 2 that kind of like Call of Taroth, where it kind of shows off what that game, the highlight of that game.
Yep.
It's like what that genre is for and why that game does it so well. The Fort Deadlight, it's kind of early on in the game, where very, very early on your ship gets ransacked by a pirate called Benwith.
Sure.
And you learn where Benwith is. He is in the pirate fort called Fort Deadlight. And you have to go to Fort Deadlight to get Benwith, because you need to, I can't remember the reason, but you need to go find him. Okay. So you're told he's in Fort Deadlight, and that's kind of it. So first thing is getting into Fort Deadlight, because it's a pirate fort. So if you come anywhere near it, they shoot you out the water.
Okay.
So you have a few choices of.
Just say like this is a game where you have a boat. Like
yeah,
you
so it's a CRPG, but you have like a pirate ship that you can do. So you can sail to this, but you'll get blown out of the water. So what you can do is attack it head on, and just try and sail through the gunfire.
Yeah.
Wait until nightfall, and slip in under cover of darkness, or you can go pirate hunting, and take one of the pirate ships and steal their flag, and raise it like it's your flag,
right?
And slip in because they think it's a pirate, so you just dock at Fort Deadlight.
Are these options like you just go do them, or is it like a menu of like here's?
So
the
you
plan?
get the two menu options you get are go to Fort Deadlight, i.e. sail through the gunfire, or wait until night.
Okay.
The third option you don't know unless you go and talk to the pirate captain who exists in a different place on the map.
Okay.
So 3 options of getting in. You then get into Fort Deadlight, and you have to find Benwith. There are then 3 different ways of finding Benwith.
Okay.
Which is fight your way through Fort Deadlight if you want to. Just go and kill all the pirates and make your way to Benwith. Because you learn through a gambler in the docks that Benwith currently exists in like the highest tower. Okay. You can go fight through Fort Deadlight. You can sneak in through the side, but that involves a whole other set of side quests where you have to convince a guard to look the other way as you walk past them.
Right.
Because every single time you go and try and do it, he finds you.
Yep.
So it involves a whole series of quests that you don't have to do. Or there's the best quest, which is the quest I did, which is you go to the main sort of mess hall area of the pirate, and you talk to people, and you learn that Benwith is a really good harpsichord player.
Okay.
And he is a big fan of entertaining for people when there is a party going on.
Okay.
And so you're like, so you go and talk to a bunch of these pirates, and one of them says, "Yeah, we can get a party going, but we need rum." You're like, okay, I have rum, and it's like, no, we need this special rum.
Okay.
The special rum is like down in the cellar. You have to go and get for us to start this party.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you can go and look at the harpsichord, and you get an option to plant a bomb in the harpsichord.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're a pirate and you have explosives.
Yeah,
exactly. Where you learn that you can play the harpsichord. So if you go and inspect the harpsichord, you're like, your character says like, there's a big enough spot in the harpsichord where you could plant an explosive device. So you go, okay, plant an explosive device. Go into the cellar, involving again either having to sneak around some guards, do combat, or like convince them or something. Get the rum. Go back to the pirate and say, "I've got your special rum." It's like, okay, sure, let's start the party. So you start this party, people are drinking, getting raucous. Benwith isn't showing up. So you go back to the pirate, and it's like, okay, we need an even bigger party, so we need to get the cook's special stew that everybody likes, and then they'll turn up more, drink more, and we'll get a bigger party.
Okay.
So you have to go convince the cook to get me more stew. Then you have to go to the cook, do another side quest that involves you getting the stew.
Okay.
Get the stew, go back to the pirate, you say, "Got your stew," you hand out the stew, more pirates turn up, all start drinking, get raucous. Benwith turns up because he hears the raucous, and is like, "Oh, I suppose you'll all want me to play for you now," and everyone's, sure. Benwith takes to the stage and like gives his monologue or whatever, sits down at the harpsichord and goes, "Bing!" The entire thing explodes. Like one note explosion. And everybody's kind of stunned for a while, and it's a great scene because the thing explodes, and then there's silence for a while, and all the pirates go, "Yeah, great!" Benwith's dead. You've exploded this harpsichord, so you walk over to Benwith and get the thing you need off his corpse and just walk away. It's just there's so much of the mission that you can miss just by going one way and not another. So you can miss that entire harpsichord thing if you sneak in or just go for combat.
Is that hidden behind like skills? Like if you don't have explosive skills or whatever, can you not?
Placing the explosive is literally if you have an explosive, you literally just go and put it in the harpsichord.
Fair enough.
Like finding the pirate that lets you start the party isn't a skill check. Like it's literally just if you look around, you find all these different things. It's the great thing about CRPGs of like there are so many options. It just depends on like what you want to do or how you've built your character as to what you can do.
That's cool.
And there's great little encapsulation of that.
I put Spider-Cop on this, I think, and then it got old. Like it continued.
I liked it at the beginning, but yeah, it
got kind of a bit much. Is Anjanath another one of those?
No, so this is a very particular moment for me where so when you go through the game, you get to a point where you hit high rank, which is like basically like your new game plus essentially. And you go through the maps and fight different monsters in the different maps. Anjanath is like big red T-Rex that breathes fire and jumps really high. And he's he's a pain in the arse when you're low rank. And he's even more of a pain in the arse in high rank because he's got new moves and stuff. But high rank Anjanath was the first time where I got Monster Hunter.
Oh, okay.
Like I understood what people do in Monster Hunter and why people think it's interesting, because I understood like reading that monster's attack patterns and what my specific weapon does that can stop it,
right? Okay.
Or move around it, or do whatever it is that you need to do to get
it. All just kind of came together on.
So it all came together in this fight with this high rank Anjanath, where I didn't get hit. I took it down pretty quickly, and it was all just based on previous knowledge of stuff I'd learned as playing Monster Hunter,
right?
Which I thought was great. It's just this really like flash in the pan moment of like, eureka! I finally understand what this game is all about.
Sure.
What we got? Oh yeah, palico cooking.
Yeah.
This is every time you go in for a hunt, you eat food because it gives you buffs, and it's headed up by a character called the Meowster Chef.
Yep.
Who is a big fat white cat in a chef outfit with a cut on his eye, and his like merry band of other smaller cats. And you give your order to him, and then there's like a 10-second cutscene of them really high res cooking your food nice. Of like sprinkling garnishes on the meat and like sizzling it and flipping it, cutting it up into bits. And my favorite bit of it is always the very end when the plate gets presented in front of the Meowster Chef.
Yeah.
And he like gets like a tiny sprig of like thyme or something, and is like very delicately puts the thyme on top of the chicken and then gives it to your hunter. Okay. As it's awesome. It's just such a, and you see it and it never gets old. You do it every hunt and it never gets tiring.
Does it change up depending on what you order?
Yeah, it does. So you can get like fish or chicken or meat or whatever. Sure. There's like a whole one where like they make like a stew and there's like people chucking stuff into the pot and there's this cat just constantly stirring the stew.
Okay.
Great. The final hit in Hitman 2.
Yeah, this is that entire final stage where it's just the most ambitious thing they've ever done, and they pull it off as well. So the whole story is basically worked up to the fact that there's this whole secret society that's basically controlling a lot and controlling large parts of the world, like Illuminati style. But their whole thing is that they recruit people like high earning people because they're the people that are going to survive the end of the world.
Right. Okay.
So
do they know the end of the world's coming, or
they just know that when it does happen,
at some point, right? Okay.
They're going to be ready because they're all donating money and they're all pulling together, and they're going to be the ones that survive.
Okay. So they're a cult, basically.
Yeah. So you go, and then there's the person in charge of it. There's 5 people in charge of this whole group, and they all telepresence their way to the meetings, except for one guy called the controller, who's the kind of head dude.
Right.
But they set up very early on in the mission up to that mission that he has like a remote controlled explosive in his brain. And you need him alive for story reasons. But the remote in his head is controlled by the current 2 chairmen of the group, who are currently these two like spoiled kind of like 20-something socialites who also go treasure hunting and like don't give a fuck about like the local people. They'll just murder people to get the shiny thing.
Right.
So that's the whole setup. That's all you know really going in, is you need to take out these 2 people. The controller can't die.
Yeah.
And you need to get him off the island.
Yeah.
And the other 2 have the remote control for the dude's brain explosive.
Right.
That's all you know going in. And you know that the group, the Ark Society is what they're called, and they're coming together and have this party on this island that they do every year, their yearly gathering.
Right.
So 47 turns up, like tuxedo, mask, like eyes wide shut shit.
Oh, right. Like the full white mask.
Yeah. Turns up on this like kind of rocky island, like walks up, is led by some dude in like religious ass looking robes.
Yeah.
And they get to the doors of this big castle and the thing, and they open the 2 doors and you walk in, and there's this full like bar there, and behind it is like the giant Ark Society logo, and there's smoke, and there's 3 musicians playing with blindfolds on.
Oh wow!
And there's like stuff going on all the time. You go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Is like you knew this was what the purpose of the group was, but they're taking it super seriously and like real cultish. And then not only that, but like as you explore this place, it just gets fucking weirder. Where like I randomly was trying to like I get seen doing something and literally escaped into a room. I was like just to break line of sight. And I turned round and I'm in like some dude's living room, like just a modern looking living room. Like the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And a woman walked over to me and went, because I'm in the suit, like as if I'm supposed to be one of the society.
Right.
She turned around and goes, I see you're here to see the gold suite. And she turned around and she's like, it's a bunker that they've built for people who are going to survive the apocalypse.
Oh.
And they have like silver, gold, and platinum levels. And you're in the gold bunker, which has like screens on the side of it to manipulate like what it looks like outside.
Oh, wow.
And like, here's the toilet that's bulletproof glassed so you can see in. But they storify why it's glass so you can't just take in someone and garrot them. Like, it's ridiculous.
Jeez.
So then you get all of that. And then one of the side stories that you can do to get close to the two chairmen are you basically join the society. You do like one of the challenges of there to become one of the new members.
Yeah.
And you do the challenge, and then they go through the whole initiation ceremony where you put on the robes and you do a thing, and then you end up in a different part of the castle where all the real members are. And there's like a museum there with a bunch of stolen shit. And there's a dude who's very clearly supposed to be Nathan Drake, but is a shitbag.
Oh, wow.
Who's also doesn't like these people.
Yeah.
And everyone in there sucks. They're all talking about how their stocks have crashed and how they're forcing their workers to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It just goes every mission story in that thing has its own like bizarre moment. There's a whole section where you can optionally do where all the business leaders are there. And like kind of like they do in the council where like they control like all the big decisions that happen in the economy of the world.
Or the secret shadow organization.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And one of them is they're all there, but all the people that are there that are not the chairwomen have these like full on gold masks, so everyone's anonymous. And they're there to have a meeting about like fossil fuels are going away. We all need to agree on how we're going to solve this problem.
Right.
And by solve this problem, we mean subdue sustainable energy research to continue to burn oil. And the guy you take out to pretend to be is an oil baron, and you have the deciding vote on this thing, and you can say no, fuck your vote, and then you go upstairs and you throw the woman into Iron Maiden and slam the door shut, and that's how you kill her.
God.
And then you escape by putting on knight's armor and just charging down the hallway with a broadsword. It's ridiculous. That entire last
it sounds full on Hitman.
Insane. It was like 3 hours in total. I took
Jesus
going
Christ.
through that thing. It's amazing. It's the best that Hitman has ever
been.
That's
fair. Yeah.
Post-credit scene in Spider-Man, what did you think was
I just really liked it. I don't know, I just thought it was nice. Like, it was Pete after all the shit had happened, and he was back together with Mary Jane, and then he helps Miles move into his house, and then Miles does the like, hey, I've got something to show you thing, and he's upside down on the roof.
Yeah. Because even at that point, Miles doesn't know.
No.
Right.
At that point, Peter doesn't know that Miles is also a Spider-Man, and Peter's like, "Oh yeah, I totally understand," and jumps on the roof.
Yeah, that was a nice
it was a thing that I knew was coming because it's Miles Morales. Of course, he's going to be Spider-Man. But it was it was just this kind of like nice conclusion to the story. I just liked.
Totally.
Blades of Chaos moment in God of War.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
That was a hell of a thing.
Yeah, like so you basically go back. Like what's the setup for that for you going back home?
You need to be able. I think you need to be able to like burn something. I can't remember what it is. It's something in I want to say Helheim.
Yeah.
Where you need. I think you need to burn bushes or something.
Yeah.
So you need something that has fire.
Yeah.
So like.
And Kratos has this knowing thing of like, I need to go home.
Yeah.
And you go back to the house you started in, and there's like a secret panel, and you just pull out the blades from all the other God of War games.
It's in the under the rug and in the basement, which like for the entire game or for the start of the game, he was like chastising Atreus for saying like don't go in the basement.
Yeah,
because he went in the basement and finds the Blades of Chaos from the original God of War games.
There's also the great moment where he unbandages his arms and it's got all the scars.
So it was something that I noticed at the very start, where the first shot of that game is the bandage dripping from his arm and him rebandaging it as he's giving up that life, So he finds the blades and he unties his things and starts tying the blades back around the chains. And Athena shows up at the door, is talking to him about how like you can't escape your past, you're a monster and all that stuff. And it's almost like it's really reluctant. Like he
he
accepts
doesn't
that he
want
just
to do
has
any
to
part
do
of
this. Walks through Athena, and then a bunch of like really low level shitty enemies show up, and the game just lets you go fucking wild with these.
It really
like
lets you remember how
really,
that works.
yeah, exactly. It reminds you so much of the original God of War games, because like the combos are exactly the same, where it's like the two big whips and then the straight down. You could do like the really fat. It was an amazing like. Because the entire lead up to you going home is like he sits alone on that boat.
Yeah, for a
with
while.
this like really mournful face while Mimir's talking to him, and it's just amazing like build.
It works in. It's one of those rare moments as well that works like it works in gameplay. It works as part of the narrative.
Yeah,
it works the whole way through.
It was a brilliant sequence.
It really was, and unexpected. Like I managed to have that not spoiled either.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. I thought that they might do something with it, especially when they were like bringing attention to his wrappings on his arm.
I didn't even clock that.
Yeah,
until I saw him taking them off. I'm like, oh right.
But I thought they were gonna do something, but I didn't expect them to just go. No, he just goes and gets them back. Like that's
sure.
So the boiler room from Captain Spirit.
Yeah, so Captain Spirit is the not prequel, but like the
interquel.
The kind of intermission thing between Life is Strange 1 and 2, kind of set up some stuff maybe for the second one.
Yeah.
This kind of standalone free thing that they put out after E3. So the whole thing is that you play I cannot remember the main character's name again. I wish I could.
Yeah.
But you play as the kid who's living with his dad. The mum's not in the picture anymore. They don't really know why. Dad drinks a lot. Has a pretty serious drinking problem. There's allusions to like attacked the kid at some point. There's a whole bunch of setup that goes in. And initially it's Christmas time as well, and there's a section where they sit down for breakfast at the thing, and the character says like, hey, are we gonna go get a Christmas tree today? And Dad says, yes, we'll go get a Christmas tree, we'll go do that. I'm gonna watch a basketball game and then we'll go do that. He grabs a large bottle of whiskey, starts watching the basketball game, shouts at the TV.
Right.
And it seems like this is a thing that happens a lot.
Sure.
So what Chris does is like he likes superheroes, and obviously he's used to making his own fun, and the entire game is you kind of going through like, here's what I wanted to do on Saturday, and it's all these like superhero things. One of the things is like you try and go to the dish, you try and wash the dishes, and the hot water's off. You need to go. Boiler obviously fails a lot, so you need to go into the garage, the boiler, and fix or switch the boiler on, or reset it. There's a great moment where it does quite a lot, where you go into the room where the boiler obviously is, and it's dark, the door shuts behind them, and Chris kind of goes into his own head.
Yeah. And
the boiler is this creature like in the middle of this big kind of cloudy room, and it's like a smoke monster almost. It's this face, and like Chris is like being all superhero and going towards it, but being really scared of it at the same time, kind of stomping his head. And there's a great moment where like as he does it, and he does the final punch on the smoke monster, and it cuts back, and he just flicks the switch on the boiler. Like it's this really cool moment. There's a scene later that does something very similar, where it's like you have to go somewhere specific, cross a big patch of snow, I think it is, and it cuts to like him being on like this alien Mars looking planet and like finding his way and all that. Like, it does that whole thing of like, no, Chris is very much in his own head because he's not getting it from anywhere else. Yeah. And it's really reflective of that. It's a really, really cool moment. Cool. There's a bunch of that thing is really good for a free thing. Like people should grab that thing. Donkey goes on strike.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like really cool little stories in Graveyard Keeper. Like all the individual characters you meet have their own story. But like the moment that I don't know why it stuck out to me the most, but it stuck out to me where so every day this donkey with a cart comes and delivers your corpses to you that you're supposed to deal with as Graveyard Keeper. One day, donkey comes, delivers his body, and then doesn't leave like he normally does. He sits at the foot of your morgue. You go and talk to him, and he starts spouting like communist propaganda.
He'd always kind of talked about this.
When you meet him at first, he talks about how like you're the new landowner and thus you're like the bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
And like how he doesn't like you and stuff. But then starts like spouting all this communist propaganda about how like you're now a landowner and also a factory runner, therefore you should care about the rights of your workers.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, it goes on for a really long time and then says, I now have a list of demands. You go, alright, what are your demands, donkey? Number 1, I demand 10 carrots. Like,
that's it.
He's like, okay, sure. So you have to go about like either like farming 10 carrots.
Oh, so this becomes a quest
at
this point.
So you have to like farm 10 carrots or find 10 carrots somewhere. And he goes, okay, sure. 10 carrots, put them in the box. And he says, good, you have satisfied my first demand. Number 2, I demand 10 more carrots every other week. You're like, okay. Alright, sure, I can agree to that, donkey, that's fine. Good. Demand number 3, I demand Sundays off. You're like, yeah, okay, sure, that's fine. It goes through these demands, and they're all like really inane, like little demands that really don't matter. But you give them all to him, and he eventually is just like, I have succeeded against my bourgeoisie oppressor in getting the rights of the workers and all that sort of stuff, and then just walks off.
Nice.
I was like, it's just this great, like there's no reason for it to be there, but there's just this really like charming bits of dialogue that are in throughout that game. This donkey was just such a great character that I just had to give him his moment.
That sounds pretty good. I like that. There's a bunch of Red Dead on here.
You ready for
this?
How
do we want to do this?
I'm just going to explicitly talk about it. It's going to be fast, but I'm going to talk about it.
Cool.
So, returning from Guarma is really quick, because returning from Guarma is the riding to Mexico moment of Red Dead 2.
Oh, is there
where
one?
It is So you get, basically what happens is you fuck up a bank job, end up on a boat to Cuba, a storm happens, and you end up on Guarma, which is like a island near Cuba somewhere. And that's the Mexico moment.
Oh, okay.
That's the chapter 5 I was talking about, where it really doesn't matter. The best thing they did was make it way shorter, where it's like 2 hours, and again, you help the natives revolt against plantation oppressors and stuff. It really doesn't matter. But
in terms of the larger story, it doesn't matter.
It's like there's little things, but nothing too important. You get back from Guarma, and you have to ride from the place where you dock your boat to your camp to like meet up with the rest of your party. And it's exactly the same as the riding to Mexico moment, where it is this like fairly long horse sequence, but they play this really like mournful gospel song called Unshaken. That is just it's mainly about like the music and the music that happens in that moment.
Sure.
Again, like the ride to Mexico.
Yeah.
It was just it's a moment that just sticks out from that game. Really powerful moment.
Is it made any worse from the fact that they just did Mexico again?
Yeah, well, it's made better from the fact that you know you're out of it, so you don't have to think about Guarma anymore.
Fair enough.
Because Guarma is a real low point, but yeah.
They did exactly Mexico again.
They did exactly Mexico again, where the bit where you go away from the main story for a few hours is kind of bad. Okay. They've done that again.
Fair enough. You want to do the epilogue at the end?
Yeah, sure. So money collection after chapter 5. So chapter 5 is when you come back from Guarma.
Right.
After you go through a bunch of stuff, at this point in the story, Arthur is now started to realize that Dutch is basically crazy.
Right.
And all this stuff about everybody has to band together and stuff, it's basically a lie. He's an insane person that just cares about money and power and circumstance, and like that's all he cares about. He doesn't actually care about anybody else. And how Micah is now back in the group and is basically like talking in Dutch's ear. So the group So the group is now basically being manipulated by Micah through Dutch. So it's Micah's gang at this point, but Dutch is the face basically.
Yeah.
So you get back from chapter 5 and you're going about doing your jobs, and there's a point at which Arthur falls off of his horse and can't breathe.
Okay.
And is like writhing around and doesn't understand what's going on. Cuts to you in first person with your vision all blurred, someone dragging you away from the street. Says, we need to take you to a doctor. So you go to a doctor, explain everything that's been happening. We're saying like, yeah, I'm coughing a lot. I don't know what's happening. Doctor tells you you've got tuberculosis.
Oh.
That you got from chapter 1, which I don't know if you got this far or not. But
I got to chapter 3.
Okay, you're fine then. So you remember the money collecting missions for Strauss, where you have to go and like get money from people on the map?
Yeah.
It's that guy on the farm.
The pig farm?
Yeah. No. The guy. I can't remember if it's a pig farm or not. But you have to go and get money from him, and he says like, "Stay away from me, I'm sick."
Oh right, yeah.
And you go and beat him up, and he coughs at you.
Oh shit!
That's how you got tuberculosis.
Huh.
So Arthur gets tuberculosis again from being a bad guy and gets tuberculosis. So then from chapter 5 onwards, after he gets tuberculosis, Arthur kind of accepts he's going to die.
Right.
Can't cure tuberculosis in
that
point.
time, no.
So he accepts he's going to die, so makes a real effort to change.
Okay.
Not change, but like try his best to
right the wrongs
in his life.
Yeah.
And like the story goes in a direction of him basically saying to people, "You need to leave. Like get out of Dutch's gang."
Right.
Like helps John get away, helps Sadie get away, like helps all these people get out. But the money collection missions after that, there are a bunch more you can do. If you go do them, you get into situations where it either ends with, or halfway through there is some sort of like moral choice of you can either go through with the money collection, or you can like just say that the debt's absolved, or you can say the debt's absolved and give them money. And like it basically it's the showing of how Arthur has changed,
right,
and how he's, in accepting death, he is trying to right the wrongs in his life. It really like shows how he's grown over the course of the game. And it ends with you going back to camp and picking Strauss up by the neck and throwing him out, and being like, "You're a leech. You need to get out," and just throwing him, like saying, "There's your bag. Pick it up. Get out." And Strauss is like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "No, leave out." Like doesn't stop and basically kicks Strauss out. Again, that's a thing that you wouldn't do unless you did those side missions, but it is this really cool moment of Arthur's kind of redemption. Like he starts realizing what's important in life. And
okay. Because you have to do those money collections.
The first one, you can't not do it. Because you need Arthur to have tuberculosis, otherwise the end of that game
it doesn't
really work. The death of Colm O'Driscoll was a really interesting moment.
Colm's the
rival gang,
the rival gang at the start.
Like Dutch says that he hates because he like stole his first love.
There was
that all turns out to be a lie.
Right.
He just hates him because he's a rival gang and all that stuff. But the death of Colm O'Driscoll is basically like, it's one of the main moments that Arthur sees Dutch for who he really is.
Right.
Because there's no reason for Dutch to go deal with Colm. Colm is, you basically get news that Colm is being hung.
Oh, right.
And like
he's been caught and sentenced.
He's been caught and he's been sentenced. He's going to get hung. And Arthur learns this and goes to Dutch and says, "Hey, they're being hung.
We're good.
Sadie says, "I want to see this because they murdered my family."
Oh, right, yeah.
I want to go see him hang. Dutch then says, "No, he's not going to hang. We need to go make sure it happens."
Okay.
And Arthur's like, "He's been caught. He's going to hang." He's like, No, it's fine. We'll take care of it. And you get there and you find out that Colm does have a plan to like not get hung. But leads to you killing a bunch of cops to get their uniforms and like doing a whole bunch of really bad shit under Dutch just going, "We need to get this done. Do it. Kill the police. Do all this stuff." Get set up in a situation where you take out all the O'Driscoll people that he's got around to kind of obviously like cut them free or something. Scene goes with guy reading Colm's last rites. Colm is there and looks out at the crowd and sees the two people in the crowd that he's supposed to have. One of whom has a gun to his head because of Dutch. Sadie has a knife to the other one's throat. Looks up at the roof at the sniper who's supposed to be there to save him. And it's Arthur just being like... And it was an amazing moment of animation where you see his face just rip. And like lose complete life. Like he realizes it's happening.
Over.
Like it's over. And it happens and he gets hung. And Sadie basically goes nuts and says, "Nah, you all deserve to die," and slits the guy's throat. And Dutch just goes like, "Yeah, you're right," and shoots the other guy in the head. And Arthur's like, "You shouldn't have done this."
No, this is all bad.
Like runs down, they're like killing everybody, and he's just like, "We need to leave now, get out." There's this weird moment of like Dutch just finally goes, "All the O'Driscolls, just get them dead," and it was a weird, strange moment. And the epilogue. This is a kind of this was a different tone where, so the end of that game, we don't have to spoil this. So the end of the game depends on what you've done, because it depends on like your honor and like a decision that you make.
That does actually
go
into it. Okay.
So the ending that I got, which I think is the best ending, you help John escape from the group, and you are chased down by the rest of the group, which now is basically Dutch, Micah, and a bunch of Micah's friends. As he's basically taken over. And Dutch is like a puppet at this point. You help John get away up the mountains, and you basically have a confrontation with Micah, where it's like a fist fight. And it ends with, I've been told if you have high honor and you do this ending, this is how it happens. Where you have a fist fight with Micah, Dutch turns up and stops you from getting the gun that would kill Micah. Micah talks him down and they walk away.
Right.
And you basically just die on the cliff face, succumbing to your tuberculosis.
Oh, wow.
Reflecting on everything that you've done.
Wow.
Like, there's a whole bunch of scenes of, like, you, like, remembering all the stuff that's happened, and there are voices in your head, and that Unshaken song is playing again, which is kind of why I like it as well. Arthur dies to his tuberculosis.
Yep.
Before leaving John, he basically donates his hat and his satchel to John.
Oh, okay.
And says, go start another life.
Okay.
Like, go, we're done here. Dies. Epilogue, you take control of John again.
Oh, interesting.
And John is trying to make his way honest in the world. So he's got him and Abigail and Jack. He rides into Strawberry and tries to find a job where he is basically like delivering stuff on a wagon.
Yeah.
Go through a whole, again, much like the rest of the game, the epilogue is a bit too long. But it's basically a shot of like John learning how to be a rancher. A lot of the time on the ranch, bad things happen and he ends up having to kill people, and that gets him into turmoil with Abigail, who's like, you can't escape your life because you just keep killing people. Ends up with Abigail leaving John. John gets a bank loan to buy his ranch, which you see in the first game, at the end of the first game. Features Hope. You meet up with Uncle. You meet up with Charles, who are both still alive. They come to the ranch with you, and there's a really great scene where you like build the ranch house.
Oh, right.
And it's like it's like out of a movie where it's like everybody kind of working together while this really like saccharine Western song about nailing wood and stuff plays.
Yeah.
Build a ranch house. You go and send a letter to Abigail. Abigail comes back. Everybody's kind of having this nice idyllic ranch life. And another amazing scene where you and Abigail go into the now civilized world, and like you go and get your photo portrait taken.
Oh, really?
And you go to the cinema, and you have like it's all talking about like the wonders of modern convenience and technology, and you ask Abigail to marry you on the river, and that happens. And it ends with you end up going with Sadie, who's now a bounty hunter,
right,
to get a Mexican like outlaw who ends up getting taken back by his gang, and you basically end up having to kill a bunch of people, which is terrible. That then leads you to Sadie coming to your farm and saying, "I've found Micah.
Oh.
Like, we have to go deal with this or whatever because it's Micah." And John says, "Fine, let's go." Go up to the mountains where Micah is hiding, and it is this amazing like 20-minute shootout sequence with like amazing like rock. Like the music changes to like heavy guitars, and like it still has the Western feel to it. But you trudge your way up this mountain and get to the top of the mountain where Micah is there. Grabs Sadie has been stabbed, and Micah grabs Sadie hostage and is talking to John about like how you can't escape because X, Y, and Z. And you're standing on top of a mountain with your gun traced on Micah, and there's a cabin where Micah has been staying, and out of the cabin comes Dutch, who at this point is he's now become the character he is in Red Dead 1, which is like manic, egomaniac, kind of crazy, like doesn't really care about a lot of things. He traces 2 guns on each of you, and he doesn't say a whole lot, and John, you're like appealing to Dutch, and Dutch just says, "I don't have a lot to say anymore." This is a great line when you think about that character. Shoots Micah, and then you get like a Deadeye moment where you just get to trace all over Micah and just shoot hell out of him, which is a great moment. And Micah is great because you do the whole shots, and then Micah just sort of like tries to shrug it off. He starts to try and walk away, but obviously just collapses.
Well, I mean, he's done that before. Like, he took some shots in that first thing where you take him, he just walks it off.
Yeah, so he tries to walk it off and then just like collapses, and Dutch just walks off. And then you go back and you marry Abigail, but the entire scene that you're getting married is cutting backwards and forwards between Agent Ross, the Pinkerton agent, going through all of the people that you've killed while setting up the ranch.
Oh, right.
And like finding the bodies and talking to people, then eventually getting to the mountain, finding Micah, talking to people, and the game ends with Charles leaving the ranch. Camera pans back to the 2 Pinkerton agents horses overlooking the ranch, and like pointing at John.
Oh.
And it starts the game ends as Red Dead 1 starts,
right?
Where they're obviously going to pick up John to then hunt the
Go
Vanderlyn gang.
Yeah.
The great
cool.
ending to that game.
Sure.
Where it took, it's too long. It is too long.
Yeah.
But it is went from this horrible story of like betrayal and like never being able to escape your past and trying to sort your future out.
Yeah.
To kind of this like not idyllic life, but this guy legitimately trying to get his life together,
totally.
But just not being able to because he knows what he is.
That's the thing. That's the thing that's kind of endemic of Rockstar games, right? Like you look at GTA 5, and it's like every character they've had in a while has been like he's been trying to get out of the life, and the life keeps pulling them back in. Yeah,
which is where it's not tonal reflection, but it's kind of focus reflection on Red Dead 1 and 2, whereas Red Dead 1 was about the past and like not being able to escape your past to see a future. Red Dead 2 was about looking to the future to try and get out of your past.
Totally, yeah.
And it flipped in the epilogue.
Yeah.
Where when Arthur died, that tone flipped and the epilogue became more about worrying about your past.
Totally, yeah.
Than it was about worrying about the future. Cool. It's an amazing moment.
That sounds alright.
But yeah.
That sounds cool.
Then it's our Mario Party from Super Mario Party.
This is specifically the one we played.
Yeah, so after we played The Quiet Man, we had a Mario Party, me, you, and your wife.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was hysterical. Like, it's one of the few times that I played Mario Party and I thought it was fun. Like, and it wasn't even just because of all the stuff that was surrounding it, where like you screwed over your wife and she just constantly got shat on for like no reason, and just because Mario Party happened.
Yep.
But it was just like the games were like fun and drew like actually like legitimately interesting. It's like a decent little thing. There. But it was hysterical when your wife had been getting the crap beaten out of her the entire game, and then you had the opportunity to steal a star and you hit random and it chose your wife.
I hit random because I thought that's the fairest way of like not playing favorites. I didn't want to, I was trying to be fair. I thought the fairest way is let it up to the gods of chance.
The gods of fate, yeah.
And of course the gods of fate fucked me and instead took the star from my wife, which I didn't hear of. The end of.
You're still not hearing the end of it. Well, she's fuming in the corner over here. I could feel it.
She had forgotten entirely about it until you added it to this fucking list. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is he written our Mario Party? And then it reminded.
I thought it was just really funny. Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay, that was the thing. There was a computer player there that I could have theoretically taken the star from.
Yeah.
But I thought, I'll be fair, I'll use random, it'll be fine. There's literally a 1 in 3 chance it's not going to be the worst one.
I thought it was really funny.
Really funny.
Like, I was in tears.
It was ridiculous.
It was great. It was just a great moment. That was more of a great personal moment than a great gaming moment, but it was a great moment. The controller jingle from Super Mario, is this when they use the vibration to make a noise?
This is a really cool novelty thing, like, is the Joy-Cons don't have speakers on them, but I very quickly noticed when I was playing it that anytime it's your turn, the controller plays a little tune.
It goes doo-doo.
And I was like, how the fuck's it doing that? And then you look back on like when we did our Labo stuff of like, you can change the frequency of the rumble in the controller.
Yeah.
And that's how they're playing the music. So they pitch the motor in their HD rumble. They pitch that to play a little tune when it's your turn.
Yeah.
And that was really dumb, and I really appreciate it.
It's a really weird novelty thing that they just threw in.
Especially because there was that moment of, where's the speaker of this thing? It's, no,
there is no speaker. It's not a Wiimote.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Best moments.
There's a lot in here.
What?
Anything
stand out at you?
I mean, personally for me, it's the final Hitman level. Like that
thing
is
sounds
so
mental.
Huge.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That sounds insane. I would say that the Blades of Chaos moment is incredibly strong from God of War. Just as a great encapsulation of that moment in the game.
Yes, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of Red Dead and Monster Hunter on here, which are all kind of really yours. Is there something there you think's that meets those?
The problem I have with all of the stuff that I talked about just there for Red Dead, is it's the last 2 chapters of the game.
Right.
All of it.
Yep.
All of that is like the last 2 chapters and the epilogue as well.
Yep.
The epilogue's like 7 hours. Like the epilogue's like a game in itself. It's not a very interesting one, but it's good moments. The drinking with Lenny thing.
The drinking with Lenny
really stands
really
out as like a really dumb,
that
great
was,
little thing.
Yeah, totally.
I
also really like the idea of the palico cooking, just because it's so stupid.
Palico cooking's great. I do love the palico cooking. Like I'm okay with either of them. That's fine. It's on you if you prefer drinking with Lenny or tiny cats cooking you steak. That's.
I think the Lenny thing would stand out more if it like wasn't the most fun I had in that game. I think.
Surely that would make it stand out more.
No, because
it's the fact that it's a great story beat, and it also uses like.
But it uses none of like the tone stuff that the rest of that game is about.
No,
you know,
it doesn't.
It's also got zero, like very little gameplay in it.
True,
so
that's true.
I think it's the palico. Like for me, that sounds real dumb.
I mean, the palico cooking is just a cutscene.
I've seen a lot of it, and it seems real good.
The palico cooking is great.
I did really like the hospital escape, but it's like the one save. Well, I enjoyed that game, but I enjoyed it for what it is.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was, but there are a lot of things about it that are not good. Like,
would you really take the Blades of Chaos above? Yeah, actually, you know what? For story reasons, above the Boulder fight.
I really like the last Boulder fight as well.
Yeah,
but that's because of like I like the way that they turn Norse mythology on its head.
Yeah.
And the way that they use how Baldur dies in myth and how Frigg reacts to it, and then in the game doing it in a different way is really cool.
Yeah.
Like the death of Baldur is a really interesting story in
totally.
Norse myth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of okay with those.
Sure, that's fine.
Fuck me, that Hitman level blew my mind. It really did. Like, it's such a crystallization of everything they've been working towards.
I have seen footage of it.
I need to show you.
I have like not seen everything, so I don't know.
I need to show you just some specific. Like, I've got a whole bunch of autosaves from that game.
Sure.
I'll just jump between the areas and just be like, "Here's this bit. Here's this bit."
Look at this. Yeah.
It's real good. I really like narratively that Blades of Chaos moment.
I like everything about that Blades of Chaos moment.
Yeah.
I think the lead up to it is amazing. I think the weight of the story impact of that is great.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think that the way that they build it by like changing the color of the sky and fading the music out into more original God of War music
and like tying it was the best way for them to tie it to what God of War used to be to what it is now.
It's just give and then getting the weapons is such an emotional moment, but then using them is just such this departure from what the game was before. Because the combat before then is very slow and methodical, totally. But then the Blades of Chaos happen, and it is just wiping away enemies like left and right in big groups. Like that Blades of Chaos moment is incredible.
It is really good. I think I'm happy with that. I think being top.
The cooking palicos is so good.
It's great.
Love the cooking palico. I'll need to show your wife that because I think she would go pretty nuts.
I'm assuming there's a bunch of them on.
Oh yeah.
YouTube.
I'll look it up for you.
Cool.
Because they are ridiculously adorable. So they are.
Sure. Okay, so that's acquiring the Blades of Chaos. I'm gonna change that to acquiring the Blades of Chaos.
Acquiring the Blades of Chaos. That's
acquiring. Okay, cool. Acquiring the Blades of Chaos in God of War is our best moment. With the final hit from Hitman 2. I need to look up the name of that level. It's the Isle of something.
I assume,
Seagull or something.
Yeah.
And then Palico cooking from Monster Hunter World. Third.
Yeah.
That's a good selection.
I like it.
That.
That's good.
Cool.